Hey, what's up, guys? This is ACP Nate with Awesome Combo Productions, and I'm talking today about randomization. You could randomize anything you want, whether it's loot, monsters that are being spawned, props on the map, even map components, sound effects, whatever you want, you can randomize them, and the key to it all is variables. So in this tutorial, we're going to cover how to do this, but I'm going to specifically focus on this one on the screen right here. Like I said, you can do anything, all right? You can even say I have right down here where it says random items and loot. It looks very similar to this, except in this one, I'm just using it for sound effects. But the same logic can be used to then be randomizing everything else. But for this one, let's talk about randomizing the sound effects. Now, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to create your files. You can see here I have zombie sound 1, zombie sound 2, zombie sound 3, and 4. And I pulled these offline for royalty-free stuff. There's all kinds of options. But click in the description below. It'll take you to the place where I found the items, and I used Audacity to clip them all and make them work nicely in here. Okay, so that's step one. You got to get your content first, right? What is it that you want to randomize? So we're randomizing our sound effects, and they're in here. Now, the next thing you have to have a grasp on is over here at the top. We click on that, and you can see it says global variables. Everything that's randomized is going to be working through the variables. So if I click on this and I scroll down, you can see I have a lot of things, but here we go. Right here at the top, this one that says random value. This is what's going to generate the number randomly that correlates right here with this array. An array is like a collection of things. And that number selects one of these, and that will create this text. All right, so it hasn't actually chose the sound yet, but it just looks at this text, right? And then I have this one, chose a monster sound, which is also a text, that I'm going to change to one of these. And then when one of those text changes, it looks to see, and then it'll pick the file. Now, these are all, if you look in the description down below, you can find a screenshot of this and a written tutorial on this as well. So it'll be easier for you to follow. You don't have to rewind 100 times, but we'll just talk about it here so you get a good understanding. So when you go to the tutorial, you know what it's talking about. All right, so back to this, you can see here where we had that Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4. Essentially what's happening here, this is my trigger. I wanted a monster within a certain range of my character to then create a random value. And I want it to happen one time. The minimum and max is 1, okay? I only want it to happen once. And it creates this number, right? The random value sets to, and it looks at the number of options, the monster sounds, right? That was the array. Now I have it set to -1 because one of those was a 0. I'll just go back here so you can kind of see that. It's important to note that. Here we go. So you see that's the monster sound array. There's 4 children, but it actually starts at 0. So that's why there's the -1 at the end of that. That's an important detail. You're going to make sure that's in there, right here. So once it's done that, and it makes sure that that random number is actually something that we can use, right? Because remember, we don't have 100 sounds. We only have a certain number. So once it's done that, it will then select from the random value. It'll go to the monster sound, and it'll select the corresponding sound. It'll change the text. Boom. It's kind of complicated sounding. And, you know, like I said, once you start making things with variables, you start seeing so much potential, right? Things that you can do. But specifically right here, we're just randomizing sound effects. So if it was selecting Z1, right, this condition here, then it will play the sound. And you got to make sure you hit trigger once. If you're new to GDevelop, trigger once is going to be your best friend, because if you didn't have trigger once in there, it's going to like do this 100 times and it's going to be super loud. So let's go ahead and see it in effect. Okay, so here we are in the game, and I know that there are some monsters over to the side here, and as I approach, we should hear a monster sound. There it was. Come back away here, see if we can get a different sound. There you go, that was a different zombie sound. Do it again. Oh, it's the same one. All right, one more time here just for fun. Okay, let's go ahead and find this guy. Where is he? there they are. Okay, so there's the monsters that were within distance. Now if I get further away from them, if I can outrun these guys. Oh, there it went triggered again. Trying to lose them. Oh, there he goes. Now they're in range. See, so that signals to the player that they're nearby. All right, so that's how you can make some randomization in the game. Same thing is true here with these treasure chests. I also have random applied there, the same logic. Just instead, it's when you're in collision with the treasure chest, it creates a random value. And it's going to give you different items. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you all soon.